Yes, YouTube, so we are back, baby, with another banger. Today, episode number 3 of the Road to Stage. Essentially, what I'm going to do is just do a full pull day and just break every exercise down. So, if you are following me for value, how to train better, how to get better results in the gym, this episode is going to be absolutely perfect for you. Because after this, you should be an absolute beast at training your back. Just like I am, so stay tuned. I feel like back training is one that gets misunderstood so much. Like, it's really not that hard. In brief, you follow a couple of staple rules and you just lift heavy weights and you just pull. And that's essentially all you need to do to grow a good and a big back. Now, I'm not sitting on this video saying, oh, look at me, my back's huge. But since I started training, I have actually seen quite good back development. So the things that I'm preaching in this video and the tips, they are tried and tested, and they are what I do, and they are what works for me. So if you apply them, theoretically, they should work for you too. In other news, my calories got bumped up a few days ago. So now I am going to do a separate video on just my bulk, going through all the little details, tips and tricks, all of that good stuff. But calories on a training day are at 4k. Calories on a rest day are at 3k. So calories have been creeping up. Calories have been bumped up quite a lot actually in the past few weeks. I've had 2 bump ups, which, if you haven't been following me for that long, my bulk has been slow and steady. And it's not until I've actually done this bulk that I've realised bulking for 3 or 4 months is just not long enough. And if you do that, you bulk for 3 or 4 months, you find that you just tend to get a little bit fat and a little bit fluffy, which again, like, no one wants to be that. What I've realised is if you are like serious about getting into better shape, building muscle, and it's something that you're prioritising, a bulk realistically should last anywhere from 6 to 12 months. I think I've been bulking for just over 5 months now, and I've probably got another good 3-4 months bulking, which would take me up to 8-9 months. And I think a lot of people think, oh, like, because I cut for 12 weeks, cut for 16 weeks, cut for 8 weeks, and that's what I should do for a bulk. But the whole idea of a bulk is to build as much muscle as possible, stay as lean as possible whilst you're doing that. If you go into a bulk and you get fat too quick, you're going to cut the bulk short because you're unhappy with how you look, or you just gained way too much fat. So you're going to cut that bulk cycle short. If, on the other hand, you stretch your bulk out, you are going to be leaner throughout the whole process. You will look better, you'll feel better about yourself, and you'll actually be able to build so much more muscle because you've drawn the process out. And again, just some common misconceptions when people bulk. People think, oh yeah, I'm putting weight on, so the bulk's going well. Like, that's just not the case. Weight is not the be-all and end-all of bulking. Your performance in the gym is. So if you're training in the gym and you're not really progressing on your list, but the scale weight's going up and you're sitting there thinking, like, oh, I must be building a little bit of muscle, like, you're wrong. If your scale weight is going up and your performance is plateauing or it's not really creeping up much, you're not training hard enough and you're not building any muscle. Those are the only 2 things you need to sort out. If you're eating in a surplus consistently, and you are not training hard, you're not going to build any muscle. You can give yourself all the fuel in the world. If you were in the gym and you train like a pussy, you're not going to build any muscle. It's literally as simple as that. With training, so many people think, oh yeah, my training's fine. My training's fine. I can't improve my training. I train really hard. Like, it's just bullshit. 99% of people, me included, can improve the training. You can train a little bit harder. You can squeeze some extra reps out. You could improve your form. You could standardize your form a little bit better. So many people get lost in their own bull, and no one else cares, but it just slows your progress down for no reason, just for a false sense of belief. Like, just admit that you can be a little bit better or you can do a little bit more. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Knowing and realizing that you can actually do more, you can be a little bit better, that's going to push you to do more and to be better. Like, if you think you can't improve, there's not going to be anything there mentally for you to think, oh, like, I'll try and train harder. That element's just not going to be there. Just realize and recognize that you can always be better. You can always do more. You can always train harder. You can always just manage your whole bulk a little bit better, or manage your training a little bit better. Anyway, enough rambling on. I'm just about to pull up to the gym now. I've Had my crumpets. Crumpet pump is going to be disgusting. And then, yeah, I'll see you in the gym, and I'm going to run through exercise selection, reps, sets, volume, my mentality towards exercises and heading into a heavy set. And yeah, let's get cracking. Yes, then, so we are back at church in the Mecca training pull. So kicking it off, we've got single arm pull down for the lats. Again, when I start every single session, I like to include an isolation exercise, which acts as a priming exercise just to allow me to sort of sink myself into the session, get myself mentally prepared for some heavy lifting. I feel that diving straight into a compound lift is not always the best thing to do, because sometimes on the way to the gym, or you get in there, you're feeling a little bit like, oh, I can't really be arsed. After a couple of hard sets doing an isolation exercise, you are prepped, you are ready to jump onto a compound lift like a deadlift and then hit some heavy weights. So as you can see, we're approaching the end of a set now. Notice when I was actually starting this exercise, I've spent a solid amount of time getting the seat set up in the right position so that when I grab that weight, I am locked in and literally cannot move. And notice the only thing that is moving throughout this whole movement is my arm as my elbow drives down into my back pocket, which is going to help us to fully contract and shorten the lat, which is exactly what we're after. We're on to the naughty stuff, onto some deadlifts. Now, obviously, this is my first compound exercise, so again, I'm going to spend a good 3-4 sets warming up, working up to my top weight. So I have actually done a warm-up set with the bar just to get the weight moving and to make sure that my form and technique are on point, so that when we come to adding some big boy weights, I'm ready, I'm prepared, and I'm warmed up so that I can just hit the weights, get as many reps as I can, and get out. On to warm-up number 2. So obviously we're going to have to load some more plates on, and it's looking at videos like this, I actually realised that, like, obviously being a little bit strong, like, I know I'm not really that strong, I don't think, for my size, but loading up all these plates is such a ball ache. And doing a heavy set of deadlifts and then having to take off 8 plates, it's just absolutely crushing my lower back. At the end of this exercise, my lower back is in bits. On to warm-up number 3. So as you can see, I'm whipping out the gear. Got my belt out. I'm going to use my straps because my spine's made out of Play-Doh. So I need all the support I can get. So sticking the belt on, sticking the straps on. This is my last warm-up set before my top set. So I'm just going to pull 1 rep and then we're on to 4 wheels, which is 180 kilos, which is going to be my top set. 140 moving smooth as butter. So on to 4 plates, which again is 180. Always when I'm heading into sets like these, I do actually get a little bit nervous. And every time I'm going for a top rep deadlift or a top set deadlift, I always go for a little nervous wee before. And something that I think everyone should do is I actually just take like probably 5-10 seconds to just get myself in the zone, envision myself doing the set, visualize myself doing the set. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but if you've just been scrolling on social media and you're on your phone, like, you're not fully there mentally. So take 10 to 15 seconds, envision yourself doing the set, get locked in, focus, and I can guarantee you'll pull more reps and you'll lift more weight and you'll get better results. Into rep number 1 of the money set. These are the sets that count. These are the sets where the gains happen. Genuinely, like these top sets where you are lifting really heavy weight relative to you. This is where you build the muscle, so it's important that you leave nothing in the tank and nothing on the table. If you're coming away from these sets and you've got more reps in the tank, or you could have pulled an extra few reps, you're not building as much muscle as you possibly could, so you're just wasting your own time. If you're doing a working set, you've only got 2 or 3 to do. It's not really that many. Just make sure that you cannot pull any more reps and push to failure just like that. Now then, on to exercise number 3. So we're already warmed up here. All I'm going to do is pick a weight that's close to my working set. So we've got 80 kilos on here. I'm just going to do 2 reps and then I'm ready to dive into my working set. So we've got 105 kilos on the machine here. All I'm focused about with this machine is getting a nice big stretch, driving my elbows back, pulling my shoulder blades back as tightly and as strongly as I can. I'm not worried about just winging weight around or pulling this and pulling that. My focus is purely on form, making sure every single rep looks the exact same. Obviously, as we approach the end of the set, reps are going to slow down naturally as your muscles become fatigued and they get a little bit weaker. But notice my range of motion is the same for every single rep. And my goal is to pull my shoulder blades back and drive my elbows back as far as I possibly can. Again, as the reps get harder, you're going to be able to pull those elbows back less and less. And we're on a machine, so squeeze out some partials, get some partial reps done, get everything out of the set that you physically can. On to the next exercise. So exercise number 4. I'm going to be one of those selfish people, those greedy people, where I just sit on the same machine for ages because I need to. So we've done the horizontal row for the upper back. We're moving on to the second to last back exercise, which, as you can see, is a single arm row for the lats. So with this exercise, all I'm focused on doing, similar to the first exercise, is driving that elbow back into my pocket. I'm also trying to keep my arm and my elbow as close to my body as I possibly can. Again, doing this is going to help you to target the lats as efficiently as you can, which is going to allow you to get the most out of the movement. And also notice my range of motion. I'm letting my arm fully roll forward. I'm letting my shoulder protract forward a little bit just to get as much range of motion as I possibly can. And we're on a machine, so squeeze out some partials. Exercise number 5. So this is just the absolute staple of any back day. Everyone does a lat pull down and not everyone does them right. So what we're focusing on is a massive stretch, reaching to the ceiling, and you're just focusing on driving your elbows again down into your pocket. Keep your elbows tucked slightly so that you can fully engage your lats and just drive your elbows down nice and slow on the way up, strong contraction on the way down. And again, this is a machine, so squeeze out some partials. Even if you think you can't get another full rep, just keep yanking the bar down until you can't anymore. This goes back to what I said at the start of the video. Back training, lift weight that's relatively heavy for you and just pull. And just keep pulling until you literally can't pull anymore. That is going to give you the best back gains. It's literally that simple. Just pull the weight, keep pulling until you can't pull anymore. That's the back training absolutely destroyed, and I'm glad to say that because this session is absolutely brutal. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, like I might try this session, do give it a go. But let me tell you, this session is rough. So final 2 exercises, obviously on a pull day, we are targeting the biceps because we haven't specifically trained the biceps yet. So we've got some hammer curls just for the brachialis, help make the arms look a little bit thicker. So we've got 20s here. Again, just squeezing out as many reps as I can, squeezing out some partials at the end of the set and just going to complete failure. So we've got one set here of 6 to 10. We've got a back off set, which I'm not going to show you, which is 12 to 15. So I dropped down to 15 kilos for this. And then we're on to the final exercise, which is a facing away cable curl to target the long head of the biceps. Speaking of facing away cable curls, here we are. So what we're focusing on here is just letting the arm roll backwards, and as we come up and contract the bicep, you can actually bring the elbow forward, which is going to allow you to get a little bit of a stronger contraction. But again, the main aim of this movement is to target the long head of the bicep. So to do that, make sure that when you are lengthening the bicep, your arm is going behind the center line of your body. By doing this, you are just going to fully elongate and stretch that long head of the bicep. That's where all the tension is going to be, which is exactly what we're after. For these curls, we've got 2 sets. First set is 10 to 15 reps to failure. The second set is 15 to 20 reps to failure. And trust me, by the end of this set, by the end of this exercise, everything is cooked. Your back is completely cooked. Your biceps are completely cooked. And that is the session wrapped up. So let's go check out the pump. Pump check. So just to see where I'm at currently, I am 94 kilos in the morning fasted. So we are fast approaching that 100 kilo goal I've sort of set myself. Now, obviously, weight is not the main goal. Performance in the gym is goal. But if throughout the course of this bulk, I could push up to 100 kilos, I'd love that. I genuinely would. But again, it's just a case of seeing where we get to. And I don't want to be 100 kilos and be fat. So just looking at the poses here, again, I said this on the last video, I'm really happy with where things are at and how things are going. Like, I've been bulking for over 5 months now. I'm still not fat. I've got abs, sort of, they're still there. And again, holding on to condition quite nicely. And in terms of, obviously this is a pull day, in terms of where my back is at and the progress that my back is seeing, my back's looking quite good. So yeah, no complaints. That is going to wrap up this episode, episode 3 of The Road to Stage. So don't forget to drop me a sub. Don't forget to drop me a like. I will see you next Wednesday at 6 p.m.